Okay, so it's the bottom of the hour. I'm looking for a new clock here. So I've been reading all the comments people are making. It's funny, this guy that's this Kobo guy, this guy whose name starts with a K. It's funny, he made this mention that I'm not licensed and stuff, and then he wants me to put on a live trade. So I don't know what people are always contradicting themselves. I guess hypocrisy is annoying, so is contradictions. If you're a logical person, and when I first came to trading, I thought, surely there's only one way to make money in these markets. I really did think that when people said trend trading, I thought, oh yeah, that's the ticket, trend trading, and it's a safe place to live. And I resent the idea of, if you told me every song you write has to be in A minor, I'd be like, really? No, that's what we do here. Every song is written in G major. Well, okay, but that's it. Well, what if there's another song out there that's better? Can you range trade? If 80% of the market's ranging, why aren't you a range trader? And you could be a trend trader and be a range trader. Well, how is that? If you're going to trade the channel. But the channels don't last forever. And how do you know when a new channel's beginning and the old one's going to end? Okay, that's going to take a little bit of a drill down. You're going to have to look for loss of momentum at a fractal level that you're either going to trade that fractal. In other words, if you were to go into the city and you're an ant and there's elephants there in the city with you, how are you going to maneuver and not die being an ant or an elephant? Well, an elephant has to move completely different than an ant. And it seems people want to trade like elephants, and I always get the feeling when people like Ranko and these people talk, or the Gartley people, or the Fibonacci people, what just blows my mind is they think, okay, there's my entry. And you're just going to enter one ticket? Surely you've traded more than 3 times in your life and discovered that when you step into the market in a size that you're uncomfortable with, the fluctuations per 3.5 hours, and if the news just came out, it's a spike, it's a very quick move, it's going to be like, holy shit, the fuck, you're either going to be winning or getting killed. I mean, winning big or getting killed. So what's your comfort level? And can you get comfortable doing stuff that is so unnatural? That's going to be once you're just numb to throwing orders out there, you'd be like 618. I just wish I could cure people of 618. That's my goal in life. Because you're just, like I said, this is like you saying, well, the girl that I meet is going to have to be blonde, blue-eyed. It's going to be an elaborate list. But typically, people, if they're working with somebody, a lot of these movie actors, they're typically both good-looking, so they're doing movie roles together. Next thing you know, they're married or making babies or getting in trouble with each other, and just go figure, right? Now, it's not the best choice, but it's what's in front of you. And I guess this is what happens to people that stumble across, and this is the people that love their own guru. But the ICT people, it kind of reminds me of militant ICT Lives Matters crowd. You know, I mean, I don't get it. Like, and all I do is make a few comments, and what am I just... If I said something untrue, tell me what I said that's untrue. I never get that. I never get, well, you see here at 5 minutes and 28 seconds, you said this, you're fucking full of shit. No, because everybody should agree with everybody else's trading if you're a real trader. Oh, I see that trade, yeah. I'm just not I don't want to ride for 28 pips for 5 hours. I see your trade. How can't you see the other guy's trade? Now, I couldn't see the other guy's trade when I started because I was like, no, there's only one trade, dude. There's not like the other. Dude, shut the fuck up. There's only one way to trade this market. So this Ranko guy is claiming now that he trades 4 hours and above. Okay, great. But how are you trading that 4 hours? How are you trading the daily? Did you buy when the thing smashed down today under the floor? Or were you... This is the question. It's obvious. I would never ask a question like an attorney never asks questions I don't even know the answer to with these people. I know what they're thinking. There's like my trading buddy said that a guy walked into his trade desk once in his house and he goes, let me guess, you got in here and you're underwater. Well, of course. And this is why the word retail means goober, idiot, naive. But look at all the beginner's luck they have because they don't give a fuck. So they have a carefree state of mind. It's funny, the more that people study, and then this other guy, this Kilbasa guy says, you should go watch ICT's video. I've heard this before. I heard this a year and a half, 2 years ago. You got to see the whole thing or you just won't get it. No, I get it. I got it the fucking first 30 seconds I saw it, and I said the rest of this is all fucking just tripe, fucking glazed tripe of shit to get you to like, oh, I'm meant to. Dude, this guy doesn't have time to trade himself, okay? He's telling you, just like the Sue Lee guy will tell you, well, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I mean, I don't see anybody like going, oh, yeah, here's what you do here. That's a chess game. Like if 10 people that didn't know shit about chess or just barely knew how the pieces moved playing against Bobby Fischer, how are you going to do it? Well, Bobby Fischer's out of his mind or dead, right? How are you going to do with that? So imagine the market is like it's God's, if God could play chess against you, that's what's going on. Now, what's your move? Market made a move. What's your move? And are you going to move before the market moves? How many moves ahead can you see? This is why people project Elliott wave. How many moves ahead can you see? How good are you at this game? If you think it's a game. But see, if you think it's a game, then that is where it starts with a G, like gambling, and people are like, oh, you're not serious. How can you show people? I can't even believe you don't even have a license. Wow. Do I have to be a certified fashion designer to say, you know, if we get a sewing machine, one of those Husqvarnas for 10 grand, and we do our own designs and crank this shit up and have some hot chicks wear it, well, all of a sudden we'll be like people go, oh my God. Well, wait a minute. You didn't go to fashion school? No, got me a Husqvarna, and I just loaded up the fucking thing like it just put a template in there. I don't need no shit anymore. You don't need to know shit anymore. So then I went to that thing that somebody commented, this, I think it's a girl, Linda, about going to this Triforce Markets or something. I went there. Okay, these two kids making money. And then the one guy admits, well, I'm really afraid of making a mistake. My ego's so big, what I thought I would do is write an algo and have the computer lose the money. And then it takes weight off my shoulders. Okay, I got it. It's just like when I set my clocks ahead 5 minutes. I know they're ahead 5 minutes. But I still have the shock value of looking at it and go, oh, fuck, shit, really? Oh, geez. Because I'm always late. Because I'm always preoccupied with some fucking brainstorm. And the market's, if you think that you're getting away from a so-called routine day job, just look at the way ICT laid that out. Bless his heart, he laid out the fact how boring trading is. Here's a grid. Here's every day. Here's London Open. It's the same bullshit every fucking day. What's funny is when people are wrapped up into the price pulse that's currently occurring, unbeknownst to them, there are prices above and below them that are perfectly good prices. It's not the price right now. So it's almost irresistible if you're alive and you have a computer on and the market is open. It's like you're in the casino. Now, if you had counted cards at home and learned how to count cards, you're not going to learn how to count cards in the casino. But this is why you would have either a demo or a strategy emulation, or you just sit there and write it down and dream it up. But there's no secret here. Now, I know people are attracted to the cloud trading because it's so pretty. But dude, cloud is not going to stop the market. The funniest thing I ever heard in trading was when I went on YouTube, because people are thinking out loud of the books they read, and so they believed in this 20 EMA so hard that they said, look how the market's respecting the 20 EMA. Dude, the market doesn't even know it exists. Look how the weather's respecting my picnic. It hasn't rained on my checker board cloth. It's amazing. No, I really don't think the market looks at your RSI and says, well, we couldn't possibly go lower. We're already oversold. And so this guy, Renko, says to me, well, you're counter trend trading. So what this means is that you're going against I think the argument there is you're going against the big boys, because the big boys are the one that are moving the market in that trend. Okay, then who are the people that are coming in and spiking at 11.6 pips down and 9.1 pips up? 9.1 pips up as opposed to 9.5. And you got a really tight spread, and you've got your orders canvassed in a zone, and you're just taking advantage of price action. Well, you're not a price action trader. And Renko's going to get the noise out, and so Renko wants a 4-hour chart and the daily because he wants the noise out. But what kind of trading decision is he making? If you're trading the setup on a 13 EMA Alexander Elder entry, bear powers, it's time to put a buy stop above the bar, you're back to the river. You could think it's the metaphors. The 13 EMA is a river, and they'll come back here, come to the river, get something to eat, and run out to it, and come back, because the market's going to go through a standard deviation, but there's nothing standard. It's going to keep oscillating either through a channel or pure sideways or screaming up or screaming down. I don't know if I'm helping, but because the more I explain it, the more complicated it seems to be in the end. Only because I said that your fight or flight thing is turned on if the market's open and you have a mouse in your hand and there's money in your account. Now, it could be demo money in that account, or it could be real money. And this is another thing that these children that keep trolling me, they don't understand, is that they're triggered by the money. They're the one that care about real money and demo. They're the ones that aren't conceptually orientated to make a decision based on only 3 things. 2 things, really. What time is it? If I look back a half hour as opposed to looking back in 4 hours, what was the volatility? What was the range? And how far back do I look? There's only 2 elements to trading to base your current decision on. And so why is the past, why do you need to look back at least maybe 2 hours on a 15-minute chart? Because you have to know where you've been to know where there's pressure been built up, or it's just like anything else. Look at the movie business. It goes through cycles. They come back, they're redoing these old movies now. So they redid The Sound of Music, I think, a couple of times. So what's that cycle? And why come back to that? Because you've basically, the terrain for people's, well, they say the market has a memory. Kind of. It's not like the market's alive. I mean, it has its own consciousness. That price is just being pulled on, up and down. And you can make all sorts of arguments that the 100 pip price is a big deal, but it can just as well be a pivot as a reversal point. So then what's the fucking point? In other words, how do you treat it? I mean, you could tell me all day long, well, it's 100. Okay, well, do I just keep buying every time we touch it? Or do I double up and go the other way once we cross through it on a daily structure of tops become bottoms? And we all know that, well, maybe you don't all know, but I don't know if the ICT guy talks about this, but this is a psychological situation that the market would come down here, go up, comes into, doesn't quite make it back to this floor. Okay, so it's, and then we plunge lower, we close down there. And if you're a counter entry guy, so the reason why you're always kind of counter entering to get the best price. So if you were buying here, so you sell when it's up and you buy when it's down, sell. There's two sells here. And then wham, you make the money. And you're selling into previous structural support on the clock, which Renko would wipe out that. The Renko indicator, not the guy. And this is also you do make it to the 100, but you come back and retest deeper. So you can't say stuff like, well, it's coming to the 100 and that's all she's going to get, and she's going to go the other way. And then here we hit the 100, but look at the psycho sell limit window and never filled in this sell limit. But if you didn't take your profits on some of these guys, and I just don't even understand, I can't have a clue, I guess. I don't understand what these guys' window is. Nobody's ever said their trade. It's been a long time on my comments where somebody said, dude, I got in it. Just lie to me. I got in at 117, man. I've been long for 4.5 hours. I put a stop at X just as it. Then I would know that you at least understand what a setup is. I don't even think these guys from ICT know what a setup is or how to trade it, or they would just blurt it out. The fact they're all freaking out about it is just hilarious. But it's sad because just walking around and saying stuff like, well, you just don't know, man. Well, okay, then explain it to me. Imagine I'm really retarded. Explain it to me. I'm willing to hear. I'm willing to listen. So, you're in the daily chart. Okay, so what's the trade now? Well, I guess you should have bought here, but not for me. I'm buying here. Anything below the 100, I'm going to lay in a bunch of orders because I don't really want to have to babysit this shit. If I know that I have enough money in the account. Oh, this other thing this guy said is hilarious. Some guy, I made a comment on this Samurai Traders thing, and some guy comes in and goes, I can double an account in 2 weeks without running stops. I thought, dude, you could blow up an account in 2 days, 2 hours without using stops. You could blow it up with stops too. Then another guy came in on top and said, oh, in 1 day I can double an account. I go, really? I said, well, no, the guy with 2 weeks said, really? And I said, what size and all that stuff and what stops, all the parameters. And the guy said, doesn't matter. With 1,001 leverage, I can double an account, and it doesn't matter how much money's in the account. It's like, really? Okay, if it was a nano account, maybe you could tell me you start with 200, you made it to 400 in 1 day. This means that you're picking a movement that has such velocity, you can get the wagon loaded properly to double that account without blowing it up. I don't know. I'd like to see it. So I'm still waiting for the guy to come in with that. Because if you only have $10 in the account, you can't tell me that you can start with $50 and end up with $100 at the end of the day, guarantee without blowing up the account, and you're running 1,001 leverage. You've really got to hustle pretty hard, I think, in 1 day. Now, I would say in 1 month, you should be able to double the account. Now, this is presupposing that this is like being realistic. Like, okay, as soon as every time you add one more ticket, you're making like 100% increase in your risk. So people talk about that 2% risk of your account. It's ridiculous. I mean, every time you put in a micro mistake, it's stacking up to one big fuck up. So if you keep picking the same price, it's ridiculous. If you think this is a buy here, for this, and this is the argument from the side of the Rankos. And so I already know what they're thinking. Like I said, attorney style, you know what they're thinking. They're thinking, well, we're in a downtrend. You see this channel here on the daily, this perfect touching on close. This is what is going on. This is only closing prices, which is moving averages is based on. But like I said a long time in another video, if you copy that over to the wick, and this is where you get the concept of Andrew's pitchfork. You're giving an envelope, right? So it's so funny. The guy said, and then the ICT guys were trend lines don't work. Well, they work just as well as the Fibonacci. Actually, it's better than Fibonacci because what I'm referencing is the cadence of the actual instrument I'm on. And even if it's an arbitrary angle here, it is a rate of change. So it's a predetermined rate of change. It's also price over time momentum. So if I place orders that will expire at the end of the day, it means I'm only exposing myself to, or I set the orders for the end of the week. Say, I'm going to buy here all the way down to, probably a little beyond here. I'm buying this whole trap all week long. Now, tomorrow's Wednesday. Swaps are going to come and all that nonsense. I mean, if you're worried about the swaps, then you probably should put hedges on. Your commissions and your spread is way past your swap. At least it was on this last trade I did. Like I don't look. I mean, unless you're going to trade some instrument where you are going to get reamed without lubricant, you definitely, like I said, that if you have scalping blended in, and you're holding some ass reaming swap, it's not going to matter. Just like it's not going to matter you paid extra shipping or this thing broke when you went to load it, and whatever can possibly go wrong. Like I told the story a long time ago about my phone. About 10 years ago, it's trading on the phone, no stops. Had about $460 in the account, and the phone was starting to falter. So it reloaded MetaTrader, and MetaTrader's default is a standard lot right out of the gate. I mean, that's another reason why people might get fucked up trading is they would open up an MT4 platform, start trading with 10 grand in the account and go, wow, this is like, I just blew up the account. Yeah, you in standard lots right out of the gate. So I didn't know, and I just woke up. I would sleep. Well, I really wouldn't sleep. I'd look at the market all night long, and I thought, this is a great fucking price. So I bought one. I thought I was buying a 1K and going back to sleep just to get the party started. I just put a little bit in there. So that it's called dollar cost averaging. I don't know if you heard of this. This is the same idea of martingaling, but martingaling is supposedly doubling up on each ticket. It's like anger scaling, I suppose. If you were to scale in at 10, a 1K every 10 pips, you could interweave that every 5 pips, and if you get the coverage right, so if you put the right amount of stores, and you know how these stores are, they can't be, it's when they do these franchises, they don't want any store to be too close to any other store. Non-compete, because so people have to. You go to New York, those Starbucks across the street, Starbucks in every little northeast, west, south, just because of convenience, and you can do it there because it's dense. And when you're out in the country, which I feel like you're out in the country when you put orders away the fuck out in Disneyland, like down here. If I put buy limits in the rest of the week here in this area, they may not fill, but if they do, there has to be maybe 80K in here. And so how would you do that? Well, you're either going to take and run, I think I got a double click here. I think this is the account. I was running the double click. Well, here, like here, it would just, you'd click and lay them in. Now, if you put in, I guess it's inconceivable. People just don't think about this, but you could put 80K in with one button press, and every 8.5 pips, it's putting in a 1K, and you could have a master stop down there just to be ridiculous. Now, you're probably risking about, $400 or whatever. Worst case scenario. In other words, you're risking $400 in the sense that if the market went ripping down, of course, now this is also, if I said, well, I'm going to put a buy limit here tonight, and then tomorrow I'm going to put one here, and I'm going to put one here, what's the difference, right? If you're going to, this is what I don't get. People are like, well, I show up every morning, I eat really good breakfast, and I come to the trading terminal. Dude, this price is always going to be mind blower scalp area. As soon as this market comes down into here, it's going to be like buy, dump. Buy. The market retraces. Right? This is what the winning side of the thing. If it doesn't do that, what is your risk? If this is the entry and my stop is here, on that ticket, there's a stop here on this ticket. Okay, that's my risk. You take all these and add it up. And I say, well, can you handle risking that for the next 5 days? Well, it's almost what? Yeah, I guess so. And you could go a whole week without getting filled. Now, are you a real trader? Yeah, you're a more real trader than a guy that's going around looking at Gartley's going, yeah, I think this is a cipher pattern. I'm not sure. Is that a 618 about right there? How the fuck, you nuts? Dude, just put fucking tickets in here. Now, this is not what people want to hear. You mean I'm just going to throw, yeah. Well, that sounds really like gambling. Well, what, you have a better idea? What is the other fucking alternative? Well, what I like to do is go to the one, I mean, can you only imagine, right? Okay, well, there's a million ways we could approach this. Me, myself, and I. Because the guy said I was a narcissist. I'm like, well, yeah, just because I'm, I guess, willing to babble into the YouTube. Okay, we got 1 minute left. So let's go to the 1 hour chart, and this will be a reason to trade. How about a half-hour chart? It gives us more bars. Let's see, do I have a trade on here? I think I bought at the market. I think this is the wrong broker, so I'm going to have to throw in manual tickets now. Okay, I'm putting single drops in here, and I'm going to turn on the volume color, which is your entry. So it's going to be tan. And this is all $5 risk here. Now, the cool thing is that this is a buy limit, and if I put it above here, it's a buy stop. So all the stuff that I would do, just from a logical standpoint, if I'm going to do trend continuation, order flow continuation entry, Guberesque confirmation upon entry, it would be buy stop above. The more daring and the more controversial is the counter trend entry, the non-chasing entry. And I don't know why that is, why this guy Ranko doesn't get it. You cannot be a confirmationist your whole life. Sometimes you just got to go, you know what? I'm putting buy limits right here, bitch. God, grow some balls. What happened to this fucking soybean traders, man? And I don't mean commodities. God, what the fuck? What do they call it? Tofu kids. Dude, are you kidding me? And 30-minute chart. Look at this drama here. Wow. Whew. What a bombastic. Look at this clusterfuck. Wow, that's a lot of work. You know what? To trade every bar here. So when you, on the 4-hour chart, you can trade every bar. And you could do Goober entries here. Sell stop, sell stop. You're filled. Buy stop, you're long. Now imagine you don't mind losing a little bit. Your sell stops are stacking up. Now you've got 8 hours of sell stop. And dare I say that that's a breaker. No shit, Sherlock. So, it's so funny because this ass clown was telling me, oh, you can't, using other people's terminology and stuff. Just who do you think he is? What the fuck happened, people? Look at this fucking shit. Explain that to me. And did you now there is nothing more satisfying than pulling the trigger here and selling, but why the fuck would you waste your time with that shit? What are you, fucking gooba? You've already had sell limits here that triggered and made quite a bit of money. Now this presupposes that you got the fuck out. If you didn't, see, this is the problem. People say, well, I got in here and I didn't take anything off the table when I came back to the rooftops. This is my logical exit. I could have laid the sell limit there and the exit before. Like when we were here, I could have done that trade. When we were here, I could have done. You got to think ahead, man. Jesus Christ. And people tell me I'm the hindsight guy. Jesus fuck. I'm always talking about you got to put these tickets in. I can't get this thing. Oh, fuck. Here, I got the wrong button. Dude, put the orders in. Let me clean this chart up. Look how my fucking indicator's calling out this fucking pivot. This is so funny. Like I said, your brain wants to make that. Look at it. You just called the bottom there. Perfect ranging. But what does it mean? Does it mean you're going to put... Now, this is where you could tell somebody doesn't know shit about trading. Because this will update every half hour, that indicator you sell. Listen, man, just keep putting these guys here. Put them right on there. Just put them right there. And you can actually make this called yellow. Why aren't these people doing that? If they say if your trading system is that good, you should be able to explain it to somebody in 5 minutes. And I can explain mine in 1 minute. The breakout system. 4-hour chart. You place buy stops on last known high. Okay. Buy stops, buy stops, buy stops. Oh, got filled. Sell stops. And you put bigger sell stops on smaller bars. Okay? Did I do that? That's 30 seconds. Get it? So here you've got 5 contracts. Here you've just got maybe nothing. The qualifier is volatility. What is the last volatility? Oh, it's too big for trade now. Got to wait 4 hours. So if you can't handle waiting, you go down to a smaller time frame. Problem solved. But now you got to worry about the spread. 1 hour? And are you really going to put... No, at this point, when you're this close to the market, okay, maybe you do have buy stop, but you got to cancel, replace, put 2 buy stops here now. You just got filled on a sell stop. If your qualifying is, what's your qualifying bar? Does it have to be this small or is this small enough? Or when you get this really small, this is why a robot, I do believe a robot could trade breakout. 5 robots, 10 robots getting in on small bars. Granted, if they don't scalp to here and the robot cannot see this auction window, this fresh low that goes back 8 hours, new lows 8 hours back as opposed to breaking out of what's currently happening now. Is he going to take profits there? Well, you better set him up to. One of the robots has to be responsible for getting the fuck out of something. Because if you just went short right now, you better start taking profits here, and the robot cannot see this coming. So if you had the robot get in and stops for you and you're placing limits, at least you have some kind of help. When you're sleeping and a robot's sniffing for low range 1 hour bars, and there's only a few markets that it would work in, because if it's drifting around, the spread sucks dick, and as soon as you get filled on either leg, you're paying a lot to get in on confirmation at that point. So you've got slippage, whatever. But you have your buy limits here all night long. And you have, you can see the 2 hour shelf here, which you can't see on the 4 hour. So it's, how do you treat a 1 hour chart? Do you look at this as noise, or do you see the trades in there? So I don't get the noise thing. If I have a buy limit here, and even ICT would agree with this trade. If you don't think this isn't a liquid, if you don't think that's a wick, so the guy said, "Am I a wick trader?" Well, what does it mean? Am I a wick trader? Well, you're a wick trader whether you want to be or not, because volatility exists. All wick is volatility per session, per time unit. Even a 10-second chart has wicks if it's got candles running on it. You just get 6 of these candles per minute, which once you look at the minute chart, you're like, wow, you don't got to pay. You can run a 10-second chart, or you can just open the tick chart up. If you delete enough of your symbols where you only have a few symbols running, you would be able to do that. Get a nice fat tick chart. You just have one. Another reason why you trade one instrument is just you can run a monster tick chart. So my tick chart right now is going to be all smushed. Probably won't get running almost every symbol, I think, here. So you have to go hide all. See, these tick charts suck. That's just the latest little itty bitty of data. But you can see the spread. So the instrument I'm on, and this does not match the chart either. And people are like, well, God, it's not right. No, this typically does not match the chart. If you really look at it, I don't think you can even get to this broker anymore. So they shut the door on all these brokers. Evolved Markets, you can't get in there anymore. So either you open an account with these people, and there's about 10. Depends how much you want to pay. You go to PAX, where Hilton was trading, and they crush you like I think you pay like 2 or 3 pips, fixed spread there. But if you know how to trade, the guy that was telling me, well, if you know how to trade, you don't need a lot of leverage. Well, if you know how to trade, you don't need even money. I mean, or whatever, right? I mean, what do you mean you don't need leverage if you know how to trade? No, you always need leverage. It's like saying, well, if you know how to drive a car, you just don't need to have a car that goes very fast. What? I mean, don't you want to have the most leverage you can possibly have? I mean, the presupposing you understand what the numbers mean. In other words, why would you want to lock up margin in a swing trade when you can be using it in another trade if you knew how to trade? So if you knew how to drive a car, wouldn't you, or knew how to show people how to drive a car, you have enough cars that you've got this car and that car, and yeah, well, but so I don't know. It's funny, all the comments and stuff, and people are really very they're serious, man. I mean, you talk about trading with people, it's weird. I mean, I can't think of nothing. If you talked about knitting, maybe it's like that. I guess it is like that. If you go to a knitting party, I mean, like knit 1, purl 2, I can only imagine the chicks are over there going, Becky doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. Look at that fucking yarn. It's not even organic. I'm sure there's nothing that doesn't. When it came to muscle cars, we used to laugh at our one neighbor who was using duct tape on everything, but I don't think it's any different in trading, I suppose, Yeah, even music, I guess. I guess everybody can disagree about style, but logically speaking, in the terms of making money in the market, it is cut and dried. Whereas if you're a really good musician and starving to death, it doesn't mean you're not a good musician. In the market now, if you can come into this scene with a toolbox and trade plans and be able to accommodate the swings in the market and find ways to weave in and out of it, then but here we're coming to Asia now, so it's going to be crazy. I think this could go up, but I think it still might go down before it goes up. And I don't have anything other than this goober trade, so I'm going to put it right here, like very much so. And so I can actually say, well, you know what, I'm going to be a little more aggressive, and I'm going to get in close to the market. So there's a 3K. That's $15. So like I said before in many videos, I could stack up about 100K here, no problem. I leave a space here. So I want to get in here on confirmation, and I want to get here if we plunge. And I'm going to put some outliers here, way out in the boonies, all day long on these tickets. 12 pips stop to make 20 pips, $5 to make $8. So if I put in 100 of these, it'd be $800. So I could do that. I don't think I'd have a problem. It's very effortless. Harder on a tablet because you got to press and hold without using a trackball. I could throw that in, or I could hit a button, but I wouldn't want to overwhelm the broker. You can do some outlandish stuff, and you can hit quite a bit of buttons. But now, if you go to the 4-hour chart, you probably can't see this signal in here, and you would not take this trade on the 4-hour chart. Now, a 2-hour chart, you might. Now you have to get MetaTrader 5 out, and in the end, if you find yourself on the 1-minute chart, then you're already in. And you got in on this head and shoulders down here because when you saw this, you assumed a shoulder would be here, and this is maybe 618 pullback, right? I see why people are using 618, but like I said, in a market with a 5 decimal point, where's the 618 on this tick chart? Right? There's got to be one, right? If the 618 is true, well, it's right here. You missed it. See, here's the flag. Now we're coming in the seller's window. We expect to pull back off of this. This is your target on the 1 minute. But we might just go boom, 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 boom. I think there'll be a little issue here. This will be the next place people cash out. But we're long, like a goober. We got long here, and now it looks like we're chasing it. And, you didn't buy here. You bought here, and you're chasing on the 1 minute, but you're not chasing on the 5. On the 5, you're just clean in on a breakout. See? You're chasing on the 1. On the 5, it's completely irrational, normal. I had a buy stop, cancel replace, cancel replace. We used to have to call up a trading desk and do a cancel replace, and I would cringe. I thought so bad because doing a cancel replace, and the guy's not making any money. So here's the hole we just filled, the basement hole, but we were filling all the way into that. So my question is, did you put a buy limit here? Maybe you traded a breakout here, but all your limits are going to come in buy limit, buy limit, buy limit, buy limit, buy stop, sell stop. The current bar, if it's small, you trade breakout. If it's not, you're putting in sell limits, sell limits, sell limits, buy limits. You don't have another choice. What's your choice? I mean, you could put a buy limit here on this rooftop going, okay, I'm bullish. And I've done that. Okay, you got to be doing something. How can a guy, I just don't get it. But see, I've just been trading so fucking long, dude. I just so many hours of watching the market. And then when you see people, they get out some moving average, they're going to explain it. I'm like, really? Explain this. Here's the 1 minute chart. Here's the 5. What do I do? Well, holy shit, I don't know. I got to get out my Fibonacci for the... Why you got to get... Dude, why would you waste your time? Here's the monthly. Oh boy, it looks like it's going down. Should we sell? Honey, it's going down. I don't know. What's it doing on the 1 minute? Well, it's going up on the 1. But I don't know. It's very bearish on the weekly. This is the fucking... This guy was hammering me. It's like, I'll give you... It isn't a downtrend. I go, dude, it's fucking... Really? It's going to keep going down now? Well, yeah, because I sold here. This top become bottom right here in the weekly. just like you said. Okay, but you really think this is going to keep fucking tanking? Well, yeah, it could. Okay, great. So do I just sell? Well, need to sell right now. That's how I feel about trend traders. We're in a downtrend, sell. Of course. We're not. We're never in a trend. We're always just moving up and down. The trend is how you perceive it. Downtrend? Really? How do you explain these amazing rallies in a downtrend? Nothing really here either way to speak of. Look at this. We're in a downtrend. Yep, she's going to just keep tanking. And look at this. Got a top, bottom. Bottom became a top, sold everything. Look at this thing ricochet. And look at it give back. And all the confirmation daily buy stop guys, which I can't imagine being that person. Because if you would have put a buy stop here and a sell stop here, they just trapped you. You'd have to wait for this one unique small bar. One unique small bar. Buy stop, sell stop, only filled on the long side here. Maybe you did get a little trapped. Small bar. Breakout trading's expensive. Limit trading's expensive too if you put in too many limits, and so is this if you put in too big a size. Because in the breakout system, in the breakout world, you're kind of stacking up for that breakout, and then you're cashing out along the way, whereas the limit thing is more of a structured, like I'm going to put a buy limit here, I'm going to put a buy limit here, and I only fill on these two, but if I don't get out here and take my 150 pips, it's almost 200 pips. And also, I was watching that Forex Hangout guy fast forwarded, and he goes, like, this move is the same as that move. And I'm like, well, not really. In other words, this move is the same as this. No, because this took longer, and there was way more pivots and way more shit going on. Some moves are clean. You always want it to be clean, but it isn't always clean. And if you're just going to trade this breakout algo, like the you got to go watch those Triforce. And I thought, wow, Triforce, but it's like not TRY, because I thought, well, that's kind of, aggressive sex style. Triforce. Well, I'm like, Triforce trading. Here I would say we just stopped hunted, or we just made a new dip low there. And the funny thing is that, see how the sellers came in here on these on this flat roof here, this commercial roof here, and they rip it all the way back to here. So, like I said, you had to take profits on there where I didn't, and look how I'm being trapped. Like, I did not take those 2 pips. My stuff is set up to take 30 pips, 20 pips. So what is your target? Another thing is, if your target's way out there and your stop's way out there, you are underwater. You're just not in a clean breakout, cash out, scalped out of the thing. This is what this Ryan Brown was trying to write, this scalp bot that I'm imagining is putting a buy stop in here, and it's getting the fuck out here without ever seeing this price. And now this volatility is too big on the 15. And are you trapped short now because you got in here and got in here? Well, maybe you are. But if you're always going to be, you cannot have every trade a perfect winner. So if you know that, then you're going to have a composite trade. You're going to have 20 tickets, 15 are triggered, and 8 are winners. And the ratios are good. Then the next time maybe you do have a clean break and the thing just rockets up, and then you say, fuck, I wish I would have had more tickets in. And you're going to consider that a loss. That has to register as a loss if you're sensitive to losing and winning. It's a different kind of loss. It's a loss of opportunity, like this ICT guy. Opportunity. I mean, that's so hilarious. Like I said, is he talking to a fucking 2-year-old? Okay, son, what we got? See this from here to here? I call that opportunity. Yeah, this looks like Al Gore explains trading. Okay. Wow. And then the guy says what I'm saying is bullshit. Great. Then move along, run along. We don't need you. So I did place the goober entries here, and I can tell everybody after I file bankruptcy, but look, it's going. See, I told you I was right. And this is where counter trend trading comes in handy, because on the 5 minute, you'd say, oh, dude, I bought this fucking plunge here and I wrote it up for 5 minutes, cashed right out like a. In other words, if you sell on the clock, you could exit on the clock. If you bought, so in my system, there are 3 trades. Buy at the market because it's down, buy at the market because it's down, buy at the market because it's down. Sell at the market because it's up. And that's what the guy was doing at that Tri-Forex. That's all they really kind of did. And then they just had really, I don't even think they had stops in there. You're short. Now, this is a 5 minute. You are short on stops here because it's a smaller bar than that bar. It's a very small bar. But what if I'm actually looking to hold this until tomorrow, and I'm not in that big, and I did scalp out of something. I had the chance and I missed it because I've been here sitting here bitching, but I'm in pretty heavy here. I got in heavy here, and some of these might have been limits. I can't remember because I said, well, what can you do about it now? I think these are limits. So being in the market in degrees is what it's all about. Now, I really like this trade, so I'm going to say, you know what, if they take it down lower and stop hunt this guy, I'll buy his stops. From the 5 minute to the 15 is so dramatic. It's 3x. I mean, it's a whole different landscape. And I'm as zoomed in as you can get in the market. I can't get more raw than this. My only indicator is closing prices over time to give me this where we've been in time. Because if I turn off the 1 period moving average, it just kind of has this, it does look like noise then, because you can't tell the trend. So I'm using 1 period moving average to show me the true trend, which is down, down, down. So you have to enter counterintuitively. So it's not like people would think, well, don't I sell here? Okay, maybe you do, but gosh, I hope you're getting out of something before it comes back here and racks you. Same thing here. If you said, well, this is a beautiful trend. In fact, I get a doji here. We're about to break out and start to come into the seller's window, but you're coming into their done. You got to think about, you do think, oh boy, what if they take, what if they don't? And what if this is drifty 5 minute stuff? And the 15, it looks completely different. And the 15, it's like, just, wow, I can see all the way back to here. It's like, holy shit, we could drop into this hole. Also go up into this hole here. So for me right now, we ran up here. It's the end of the day. We've got this. We're coming into, maybe there's news coming out. We could still go lower than this, and we could still go higher than this. I'm currently long on stops, and I got limits here to pick up a few more tickets, and that's just, I want to be involved at different price levels and for different reasons. And there's the market order system of buying. The bigger the move, the bigger you buy or sell. So it's down sharply, I buy. So also I'd have to be aware of this hole. So when it starts to crush down, which I would anticipate that this hole's itching to be filled, as soon as we close under there, I could buy here, but maybe I'm buying on limits too, depending on how big I want to trade. How long do these tickets last? So if I buy here, I buy here. I wouldn't buy much here because it's not down very hard, but these two I bought quite a bit. And this one I kind of bought This one I bought the most because down at a faster rate of change. This trades up, and maybe by the end of the week, I will be above this price and above this price and above all of these limits that filled. And if the limits, if you donated, say 70% to these limits, because not all of these would fill, and you have a buy stop, kind of a trap, right? Sell stop, trap, buy stop, no trap, then it's filled. If the stops for these entries are down here, at least a couple of them, you've gotten picked up on 3 systems. You bought the market. This is relatively down hard. You bought the market. So you got 5K in at the market. Maybe you've got 10K here at the market, and you've got 1Ks here. So you get filled. Maybe fill 2Ks here because it's very small. That is a 15-minute chart. And maybe your 4 hours buy stop, 4-hour buy stop. More buy limits here I'm going to put in. So I'm only in about, oh shit, I'm going to put it right there. I keep forgetting erase does not take me out of draw mode. So here too, and then I would actually take this ticket right over here to the edge. So instead of putting in a trend line, when people are putting in and saying stuff like this, well, we have this area here, and they'll go, okay, let's mark that off. I say put a ticket in there. Just put a ticket in there just for, and use all of your tickets as support and resistance. The sell side, I probably wouldn't put any sells until we got above this thing, the high of the day. So go to half hour and you're like, okay, half hour I can see, yeah. Less now from a stop entry standpoint, it's going to be less over trading, less butchering, and even the least amount of butchering is going to be the 1 hour, and the 4 hour is really kind of dicey because you're going to overpay. In the end, you're making money, but it's, if you see the problem when people talk about the 4-hour chart and the daily chart, I always wonder, well, how are they talking about it? Because here is it a downtrend? I mean, the weekly looks better. In fact, the weekly to the 1 hour looks more like the terrain on this 4-hour chart, like, it's pretty brutal. I don't know how people are I don't know how this Ranko guy is perceiving the 4-hour chart, because look at these. Look at this thing. Is this an uptrend or a downtrend? Like, where do you got your orders on that? Half hour is great for structured trading. I can't really say I would be putting buy stops and sell stops on these. I would anticipate it, and I did put some buy stops in here, and because it's out of laziness that I'm like, okay, we're going up, and I would buy at the market, but what the fuck? If I've got different exits for these tickets. So if I'm looking to make 20 pips here, okay, I'll overpay. In fact, I'll even go as far as to put one right here on this rooftop and go, yeah, that's a bad spot. I'll overpay. But just to make it fair, I'll put some down here and never repeat a price. So if you go to properties and fix the scale, you will not repeat the prices. So you can drill down. I can bring this down to 1/10 of a pip. So what does the market look like to the market? I always think, how does the market see the market? And I think it's like more like this, where it's inconceivable from any type of trend. It just looks like these depth of market people are trying to look at. It looks like that. And let the 4 hour, like, you change time frames now, you're like, huh? Wow. Like, I don't get, like, what are you doing? Are you buying? Yeah, I'm buying. Yeah. Hey, we're at support. Can't you see? The 1 minute chart, you're like, oh, I see what's going on. Yeah, double bottom. Yeah. So I think if you fix the scale and switch time frames, that's the mind blower. You're like, holy shit, that's the what? I mean, you can't even make sense out of this thing till you get to like 5-minute chart. You're like, you kind of want to see what's going on down here. So as soon as you bring this into the picture, now you go to the 1-minute chart and you're like, okay, I see. 15-minute, like, I can still see what's going on. And I love this setup here. Breakout, come back. This is double top. I don't think so. I think it's going up. And just how this is a top becoming a bottom right now on the 15. I think this is a eye-opener, because if you were to go like this, you're like, oh yeah, I see here, wait, yeah, I see what you're doing, that's a buy, yeah, that's a trend, oh yeah. As if the market's thinking like you. It's just hysterical how people think this. Yeah, that's a good setup. Like that. Good set. I like that simpleton guy. He talks like normal. He's not like that other simpleton guy. It's so mean. Yeah, but think about it. Isn't the market more like that? And you're like, holy shit, anything can happen. Where this, you're primed to think about dumb shit like trends and yeah, this should hold. I do believe we should load the wagon, because I can see a channel off of that. What's a pitchfork? There's a center. Yeah. We're going for that line. Now, this is a kind of a big problem. This idea of a target, as opposed to just a pip target. In other words, if you just said, I'm trying to make 40 pips, it's completely different than saying, oh no, dude, like this guy Calvin Klein, that was bothering me, and he said, oh dude, you don't understand. That there's called geometry, and that thing's got a target on it that is like based on a pitchfork, and it's going to hit that tine, and it's going to go ping. Okay. But there's going to be a rocky road on the way there, even if that does happen. And it could be so rocky that it could take out whatever other price. Anyways, that's what I'm thinking.